Power Pack Tuesday training call, followed by a talk with the finance doctor. I now have the distinct privilege of introducing to you someone who is no stranger to the financial industry, a U.S. Army Major retired, financial advisor, our coach and mentor of the Be Your Own Bank movement, the Women Teach 4X movement. We call her the Trade Whisperer. With that being said, I want to introduce to you someone who has 100% of the information. Ms. Tasha Dyer, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. And thank you so much, Mr. Love Phillips. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to give it back to Love for just a moment because he is doing some phenomenal things here in the Jacksonville market. He's just doing some phenomenal things. If you've been to the BYOB Expo, Be Your Own Bank Expo, he is one of the trainers. He's someone that helps you understand how you think like a bank, how you act like a bank, and how you ultimately become your own bank. So I just want to thank you so very much for your training and what you do for the movement. So without any further ado, we're gonna get this call started. I am so thankful. I'm just so very thankful. And where we're going to start this evening is where we left off. So I just want to begin by welcoming each and every last one of you all to the call this evening. And when I say that, we have been studying the BYOB cash out strategy, Be Your Own Bank cash out. And I was asked a question as we closed out on Thursday. And that question was about currency strength and do we use a currency strength indicator? So if I was doing something other than a 15-minute chart, then for currency strength, I would definitely take that into consideration. So I want to show you what it is so you actually have an idea what we're talking about. So for everyone on this call, whether you are a guest this evening, whether you've been trading for a while, currency strength is something that is very, very important that you understand. Currency strength is something that you definitely need to know. It's something that you need to understand, and it's something that when you are trading. It's imperative. It's something that's it's very important. So you often hear, if you've talked to anyone that talks about the foreign exchange market, and we discuss this in relation to the stock market, and you often hear us, let you know that this is totally different than the stock market. And the reason is because we'll tell you we buy one currency and we sell another. That's what trading is. See, with stock market, you have to purchase something, you hold it, and you pray that it rises in value. See, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is buying and selling another one at the same time. But it's all about that entry point and that exit point. It's all about knowing when to enter the market. That is what foreign exchange trading is all about. So, to help you understand. So this is, at the top, you have the USD/JPY. So that's the example. That's the currency that we're using in this example, USD/JPY. Now, with USD/JPY, you're going to buy one and sell the other. So your base currency is the one on the left. Your counter currency is the one on the right. So this is your base currency. This is your counter currency. So when you're trying to understand strength and weakness, my base currency must rise. So if I want to do a buy, right? If I want to do a buy, my base currency must rise. So this is my base currency. So if I'm looking to do a buy, then my base currency would need to be the stronger currency. If I'm looking for a sell, so if I'm analyzing my charts, my base currency must be weaker for a sale, that means this will be weaker, which means that my counter currency would have to be stronger. So this is what we're typically using. That's when we check our currency. Heatwave, our easy currency, those are apps that you can have. So if you're doing anything, when you're analyzing charts, understanding the markets, when you're doing any market analysis, you want to understand what your currency is actually doing. You want to know, because the market is going to do one of three things. It's going to be going up, it's going to be going down, or it's going to be going sideways. So, do I have any questions on this? Questions or comments before we go any further? Because this is the question. This is where we left off on Thursday. This is what that question was all about. Do we use currency strength? So I want to make sure that we totally understand what currency strength is all about. So do we have any questions about currency strength? Any questions, any comments before we go any further? So that means that everybody on the call understands what currency strength is. That means that you understand that I buy one currency and I sell another at the same time. So you never physically purchase a currency. You never physically bring something home. You are looking for an entry point. So with this situation, this means that I buy one and I sell the other one. So I'm buying this base currency and I'm selling the other currency. So if I'm going to buy in a buy situation, when I buy the market, so if I tell you I buy the market, I'm going to buy the USD and I'm going to be selling JPY at the same time. That's my exchange. And I'm just looking for that proper entry point. So when I go to sell the market, my base currency needs to be the weaker currency, which means that JPY would need to be that stronger currency and the USD would need to be the weaker currency. So at that point, I sell the market. That's what that is. So I'm gonna stop sharing that. And I wanna show you what those apps would actually look like. I'm changing my share right now. Give me a moment. So, of course, this is what the currency Heatwave app is going to look like. This is what you're looking for, okay? This is the app. Now, when you pull it up on your phone. So you see the different things that it's gonna give you. It's gonna give you your volume. It's gonna give you your volatility, your sentiment of the market, the strength. So this is definitely something that you wanna have. You want to know what's happening in the market. You wanna know what's going on. So this is important. This is definitely features. This is something that you want to have in on your cell phone. So this app, this is how it's laid out. And you right here, you see what it gives you that currency Heatwave. So it's giving you the strength. So I can actually compare the currencies, but it's going to tell me the volume of what's actually happening with different currency pairs. So I can actually look at this, and with those currency pairs, I can actually know what is actually happening with those currency pairs. So, okay, I hear someone, you have a question? Is there a question? So, but yeah, I can actually have that. Now, I can't pull it. Mr. Rogers, do you have this on your phone? Because I actually cannot share it from my phone. That's why I pulled it up on here so everyone can see it. But
Yeah, give me a second. I'm actually going to pull up the IML currency analyzer. So give me a second. I'll drop it in the
oh,
screen.
okay, okay,
I'll send it to you.
okay. So he's gonna pull it up. So when you're looking at the sentiment of the market, what the sentiment of the market is basically, that's the overall attitude of the investors. That's how they feel. Remember, we're learning how to ride the wave. So when you want to know what's the sentiment, how they feel about the market, the tone of the market, remember, no feelings, no attitude. We're just learning how to ride the wave of the market. That's exactly what we're learning how to do. And then the volume, when we're looking at the volume, those are the transactions. That's what's actually happening. How much, what is actually going on? What's the total number of transactions of what's happening in the market right then? And the volatility, that's how the speed of how much does the price change? How fast is it moving? So is that price moving in the market? So all of these things are actually things that you can actually find out with that. So as you can see, it does it for each time frame. It's happening. So, but it does it for each one of that. Now, and that's what you're seeing right here. So as Mr. Rogers is actually pulling it up for you, do you see, does anybody have any questions on these? Because you can actually see, you know, and what it's showing you are the major pairs. So you're not gonna, now if you're trading exotics or you're trading crypto or you're trading all those other things, this app is not showing you that. The miners, like I said, all those other things, this is for you to understand the major pairs. These are those major currency pairs that are happening in the market. So any questions on what you're seeing right now? Has anybody been using this? Are you familiar with this already? Because we want to make sure you're equipped when you're trading, and that's the purpose of making sure you're equipped with all the proper tools so you can have all the success while you're trading.
Natasha, this is Dee. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How you doing?
I'm good. Of course, I do not have this. I have no problem with downloading it. So it looks like this will help me maybe understand when I'm looking at particular pairs. And actually, when you say it shows the heat wave, like which ones are more likely to follow our rules or go along with what we're doing, it sort of gives you a heads up as to, yes, it's good, no, it's not.
It can help you, but I'm going to show you on a 15-minute chart when you are scalping. I'm going to pull up the charts because I'm not pulling this out on a 15-minute chart when we're doing the BYOB cash out, but I'm going to show you why. But when I do longer trades or when I do other things, I most definitely pull this out. And that's why I pulled it up, because it's absolutely, I want to know what the market is doing. So if I'm trading and I'm doing something more than 10 pips, or if I'm doing more than scalping and I'm trying to do longer trades, I need to know what that market is doing. You know, we need to know what is going on, because we ride the wave of the market. We have to understand what is happening so we can trade with knowledge. So we, you know, if the base currency, if the trend of the market is a strong buy, then I'm not gonna go sell. So for example, let me go back to this PowerPoint slide. So for example, if I'm trading, actually, let me just do it this way. So for example, let me show you something. If we just had USD JPY, right? And then I get another call from JPY and ZD, for example, right? So now if I'm scalping 10 pips, because I'm scalping, And that's why I say I'm gonna show you on the smaller time frames. Remember, my smaller time frames, we don't analyze on smaller time frames. We analyze market moves on larger time frames and what the market is actually doing, because this can be a pullback. My smaller time frames are more than likely is going to be a pullback. It's one of those entry triggers. It could be a market correction. It can be so many different things that we've learned in our academy when we begin studying, when we begin learning. So in those 10 pips, this is not going to have an impact of what I'm trying to show you with this, right? But when I'm doing longer time frames from an hour and up, what I don't want to do is have my JPY as my counter and my base, because that right there is contradictory. My JPY is my counter and my base. What I'm saying is I'm buying and I'm selling it at the same time. And so that is completely contradictory. So, because if I look at my currency heat wave, right? If I go to my currency heat wave is going to tell me that JPY is either in a JPY overall in the market is in a strong buy or it's in a strong sell. It's either going to be in the market buying or selling. It cannot be doing both overall in the market. So I have to look at it and make a decision. Do I overall in the market, if I'm going to do longer time frames, do I want to buy it or do I want to sell it? You always want to set yourself up for a success. So JPY, when I'm doing my longer time frames, I do not want to do the buy. It does not need to be a buy and so this is going to help. We are always here. We're creating that foundation to where we're always putting you in a position to where you're winning. We're always here to increase your accuracy to where you're in that position to where you have the knowledge to where you're always in that position to win. And when you know that you have the right tools, the right knowledge to be in that position to win, then you're gonna know what to do. This is that why behind the what, because you can't take both of those trades and come out on top, because one of them is gonna win and one is gonna lose. And the only way you can come out on top with both of those is watch one of them pull back. You would have to have a large account and watch one of them pull back real bad and then come back out without a stop. And we don't teach that. We teach proper risk management and doing it the right way. Mr. Rogers, you have it yet?
No, just keep going. I'm looking for it.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? So, does everybody understand what I was just saying? Because let me show you, let me paint this picture for you.
Excuse me.
Oh, yes.
Hi, Tasha.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I'm asking about the app. What's the app that we should be downloading for this?
Okay, and who's speaking?
Alta.
Okay, so the app is called Currency Heatwave. Let me pull this back up for you. Okay, can you see it? Is it back up?
I can see that, but
okay. So this is the app. The app is right here across the top, Currency Heatwave. So and this is it, Currency Heatwave. And this is what the app actually looks like.
Okay.
So this is the app that you want to have.
Thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. So now let me pull.
Excuse me, Ms. Dyer. This is Little Princess Cone. I just want to make sure I understand that your base currency is your stronger currency, correct?
Let me pull that back up for you. So the base currency is the first one, and the counter currency is on the right. So this is your base currency and this is the counter currency. So the stronger one is the one that is going to rise.
Okay, so that would be your counter one.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So for a buy, the base currency must be the stronger one for a buy. And for a sell, the counter currency must be the stronger one.
Tasha, I have a question.
Yes.
So when we utilize the app, the Heatwave, would that be more in conjunction with the harmonic scanner, since we're looking at a higher time frame versus execution?
No.
Oh, go ahead, Ms. Rogers.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with the tool. It's just the tools are going to do the same thing. You have the ability to take advantage of the higher time frames on any of the tools. So it has nothing to do with the tool. It has to do with what currency pair, as we're looking at, which one is the strength of the currency, and this is beneficial as you are engaging in higher time frames, so that you don't have conflicting trades with buy or sell based on the strength of the currency at that particular time frame that you're looking at.
Now, and see, this is important because you can use this. If you look at that app again, you can use this you can use it on a 15-minute chart. You can. Now, you definitely can. But let me pull this up for you. Let me pull up the chart for you.
Before you do that, let me just so everybody can take a look at it, because it's actually a part of your IML web analyzer,
Okay.
the currency index. So give me 1 second. Let me just pull it up for everyone. And it's imlwebanalyzer.com/CSA. Well, I actually put the link. Let me just do it.
Right on the 5-minute chart, right here. And this is the yellow, these are the coordinates that is plotted. Now, of course, I said we don't really take buys off of 5-minute chart, but however, it gives you a head.
Can everyone see that?
Just about an hour later.
Yes.
We can see that we have.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So I haven't seen this one. I knew it was coming. So they just released it. This is awesome. So okay, so go back to the top. It looked like it have a color code. Okay, so that's just, so what it looks like, the way this one is broken down is each currency pair is actually given a color. And so this one actually goes down to the 1-minute chart where they break it down for the currencies. And so they've actually just broken it down to where they've broken it down to where they just have that piece sitting out that it looks like is the strength, the stronger currency. So the beautiful thing behind this is that we know that we can come to the web analyzer that Stephen Hooley has created a tool, and he's implemented the currency Heatwave, the strength of the currencies, into the tools, because it's important to know. This is important. So now we just took an app, put it on our phone, but what Mr. Rogers has put up, like I knew it was coming, but I'm amazed and I'm excited because it's actually here now. So it's actually implemented into our tools. to where you can see. So like I told you, this just keeps getting better, and it just keeps getting better. And now it's actually implemented into our tools to where we can go in and we can see, and we can look and see what currencies are actually strong. So, I mean, it is, and what's that site again? What was this? And she dropped it in.
IMLWebAnalyzer.com/CSA.
Okay, so it's dropped in there. I mean, this is just something to get excited about, because we're continuously being put in a position to win. Just something to get excited about. So I'm gonna pull up the chart. Hold on. Let me pull this up. So here we are on the charts. Okay, let me do it this way. So here we are on the charts, and this is a 15-minute chart. So you can, for the 15-minute chart, you can look at this. Like, we had a conversation in our WhatsApp where we just knew, you know, what was happening, where you can kind of look at it and tell what's happening. So when I'm looking, I can tell this is in consolidation. Yes, I see that the blue line crossed over the red. So let me back up a minute, because we do have some guests on the call. So to completely understand, what is the BYOB cash out? How do I trade the BYOB cash out? And where does this put me in success? What is it? So this is the web analyzer. This is the web analyzer. And the web analyzer starts with, when you first log in, they're gonna log me out. I've been in here too long, I guess. When you log in, you see our coach, our mentor, the visionary behind the BYOB movement, Mr. Gerald D. Rogers. That's who's right there, the gentleman that you just heard speak. He is the spokesperson behind the web analyzer, for the web analyzer. And he is the spokesperson for this tool because of his investment banking background. Now understand, this is phenomenal. This is phenomenal because of the simple fact. This is phenomenal because of the fact that he speaks to the entire company, but the company, you get to work with him directly. So I'm excited. Now, the web analyzer is broken down into 3 tiers. So we got tier 1, trade ideas. Tier 2, power trades. So tier 1 is no heavy lifting, no lifting at all. Tier 2 is a little analysis. Tier 3, when you're in the academy, they tell you to pick a currency pair or 2 and you study it, you learn it. You understand the ins and outs of the trade. So, but they're looking for volume bursts. You're looking for those key triggers, those key entry points. So what this is doing, oh, okay, got it. Let me go to this. What this is doing is, what we have to do is, the web analyzer does it for us. So instead of just being on one currency pair, there's a trade, everybody. I'm gonna pause. For those of you that are trading with me already, this is a perfect trade. Take your trade. So if you see it, take your trade, and I'm gonna walk everybody else through it. Thank Dusty. So he called the trade. So, and I'm gonna walk everybody else through it. So the web analyzer, and thank them in the chat. Thank them in the chat. Or you can thank them out loud. Get your
Can you just walk us through the trade right now, and we can come back to this?
Okay, so market execution. So here we are, is the blue line. This is the stochastic. The blue line will cross over the red, and the stochastic. That's the first thing I want to do. That is the first thing that I want to do. That's the first thing I'm looking for, is the stochastic. Is it around the 20 or is it around the 80? It's around the 20. And so because it's around the 20, it crosses in that up position. And then I'm looking for a green candle with a flat bottom. So a green candle with a flat bottom. These are Hikinashi candles. Hikinashi candles are different than Japanese candles. These candles are trend candles. These candles look for a trend. Then what else is, I'm looking for a PSAR. It's a parabolic stop and reverse. So these are reversal indicators. So these are 3 indicators. So look at this. So I have my stochastic, which measures momentum, my Hikinashi candle, which measures a trend. The fatter the body of the candle, the stronger the trend. And they should look like steps as they go up. Like as we're talking, we just saw another candle form. So you see how it forms. It forms as the body of the body forms just as it's going to be. And it's going to get a little bit fatter. So, but you see how it formed with a flat bottom, and the candle is still in a good trend, a good uptrend, because this body of this candle extended past the other candle. And look at my PSAR. The PSAR should always be going a little bit above. Now I know this one is a little bit slower. We're gonna be in it a little while because the PSAR is not a steep uphill. What it is but they're not parallel. They're not like right next to each other. So they're still at an incline. You see, they're still inclining a little bit. So this was a perfect trade. Now, why am I not going on for 10 pips? Why am I not going to the currency heat wave? Because what is the big picture? Big picture is we trade, and when I say trade, trades are, we really trade on an hour to 4 hour to daily to weekly. That's trading. This is scalping and intraday. That's what this is. So I can look at this and I can tell that, well, before we go any further, did anybody catch this trade? Just tell me that somebody caught this trade other than Dusty. Dusty, you got the trade. Okay. I got 1 yes. Y'all speak out loud. You can unmute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Yes, I did get into this trade.
Okay, I got some chats and I got 1 unmuted mic. Anybody else?
This is Lady Cat from Tampa. Yes, I got into the trade.
Awesome, awesome.
It's Love from Jacksonville, Florida. I'm in.
Awesome, awesome.
This is the Adsons from Orlando, Florida. We're in.
Awesome. So we're taking a trade. You see how easy this BYOB cash out is? 3 simple rules. 3 rules. Take the trade. Market execution. My stop loss. Very important. Stop loss. So my stop loss goes right here below the PSAR. So I'm always putting my stop loss, I'm dropping my stop loss below the PSAR. So what I was explaining before is I'm bigger time frames is when I'm doing longer trades, longer pips, and that's when I'm really looking for that currency heat wave. So when I'm on those, then I'm dropping down time frames for tighter entry points. That's how you trade, and that's when you're using those currency heat waves. So, but when I'm actually trading, when I'm looking, right? See, and the reason why we're using the 20, and the reason why we're using the 80 around the stochastic is because I don't know where I am on the charts. But this is what we call entry triggers. We did a training in the past on the Japanese candles and understanding your roll signs, understanding your roll maps, and how this tells a story. Y'all let me know when you take profit, because I'm training, but let me know when you take profit. So this tells a story. All of these candles tell a story. But what we don't know where we are. I can guesstimate. See, we're looking at this and it's gonna look like, I can look at this and I can say, oh, this might look like a double top. It might look like a trend. It might look like I might be in a range. I can look at support and resistance, you know, all of those things that you learn as you're going through the academy. But the reality is it's not. Because on the 15-minute time frame, the 5-minute time frame, the 1-minute time frame, that's not what it is. These are nothing more, these time frames are nothing more than entry points. They're nothing more than pullbacks, corrections. That's what they are. So we're not doing any of the analyses and any of those things on these time frames. What we're doing is grabbing some pips and cashing out, because that's what this is. So if I took this up a few time frames, right? If I took this up, what's happening? I don't look like I'm in an uptrend. I'm not in an uptrend right now. I'm at the bottom of a downtrend. That's really where I'm at. I'm at the bottom of a downtrend, right? So what you have to understand is that this is why I'm not giving, this is why I'm not using all of that on this time frame. This is why the only thing I'm looking for is the basic 10 pips and get out. That's why that's all I'm doing. That's why that's all I'm doing. So what you want to understand is that you want to grab your 10 pips, because, and then what things that you do want to begin to identify is that when you see, you can eyeball it and you can see. So I know that, look at this. I can, from here on this exact same currency pair, I can look at my indicators, because I can look at my indicators and I can tell, look how wide the PSAR is from here. Let me change this for you. I can look at my indicators and I can tell how strong my trend is gonna be. The PSAR, the Hikinashi candle, and my stochastic is going to tell me the strength of my trend. So I can look at this and it's going to tell me just how strong my trend up is, or just what it is I'm looking for. So when I see these gaps, did someone have a question? Okay. When I see these gaps, you see the nice strong trend. So when this flat bottom began to form, look at how strong these candles are. Look how strong these candles are. This is what I'm looking for. Look at these candles. Look at what's happening here. Look at this consolidation. So even though my stochastic was strong down, but look at this consolidation. So you don't have to take all of these trades. You want to take the ones that identify themselves, but look at the consolidation. So there are things and there are trades and there are indicators that will tell you, you know, what it is that you're doing. So where are we at? We got 6 minutes left in this trade. How is our trade doing? How's our trade? Who's in the trade? How's our trade doing? I just had like 10 people tell me they're in the trade. 10.
This is Zeta. I'm in the trade, but I'm not in profit yet.
Okay. Who else? Now remember, it is gonna pull back, because what you're looking at is a Hikinashi candle, and so that's why I'm asking now. Who else is? It went up and then it pulled back, right?
Yes.
Okay. Who else?
I jumped in the trade, Tasha. This is Dee.
It went up and it pulled back, right?
Right. And so I'm not in profit yet.
Okay. It went up and it pulled back. Right?
Correct. It keeps fluctuating right now, up and down.
Correct. And I'm saying that because I want everybody to understand that that is exactly what it's going to do. And so you want to watch your indicators and not your profit, not your balance on your MetaTrader 4, because your indicators, it still has a sharp. We got 4 minutes. My indicators, my stochastic is telling me that I still got a sharp up, right? I'm still at a sharp up. And my candles is still going up. Now, my P-stars go.
Let me jump in there so everybody can be excited about because what's happening is there's an impulse taking place. And if we look at this trade that we're in right now, and if you go back maybe 30 minutes, you see more of an arc on that same about 30 minutes ago is more of an arc. But as you look at this particular indicator, the blue, it's almost going straight vertical. So that means that the market is definitely pulling. So as long as you stay consistent and trust the process, you're going to always be in profit. And like we're saying right now, if you look at the indicator and not get miffed about what the back and forth is going, the indicator is going to tell you everything. And that is a tremendous correction. And that's what we're going to continue to be focused on.
So, and what you're seeing, so the P-star is still headed in the uptrend. So we got 3 minutes left. We still got 3 minutes left to the next candle forms. But what you're seeing, so this Hikinashi candle, and what you're seeing, so just as Mr. Rogers just talked about that pullback, and this is what I was beginning to explain to you all, is that you're going to see this. And so what you want to do is when you see this Hikinashi candle, but I still got a P-star going in an uptrend. I still have a strong stochastic. So you want to wait it out. You don't want to pay attention to your MetaTrader 4. You want to wait this out because everything is still telling me that my trade is still good. And so it's going to pull back. That is going to happen. The market always does an impulse, and then it always does a correction, and then it always does a continuation. So like, for example, in this downtrend, and you see it right here, it's coming down. And then you have your correction, and then it continues, and then it turned around. So that's what the market does, no matter where you are and what you see. The market is always going to impulse, it corrects itself, and then it continues until it turns around. And no matter what you see, when you are on the charts, you're going to always see that. So even on this buy, this is a nice strong uptrend. But what do I see? I see a nice impulse. I see a nice correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, until the market turns around. So even using these trend candles, the Hikinashi candles, you see that correction. You see the correction. You see the correction. So yes, within the candles, I'm going to have that back and forth from the buyers, but I'm always going to have that correction. You're always going to have correction. You're always going to have a correction. So no matter where I go, and no matter what trend, when I have a nice trend, there's always a correction in there, and the market continues. See, here we go again, a correction, and it continues. So even in this nice trend, so we would get excited, and like, oh my goodness, look at all the pips I caught, right? Oh, we would count these 67 pips, but we still see the correction in here. We would get excited, and we count on the way down at 73 pips caught. But then you still have to understand the market corrects itself during this time. It corrects itself. So the market's pulling down, it's going to correct itself. The market's pulling down, it's going to correct itself. Market comes back down. So no matter what currency pair you're looking at, no matter what's going on, you're always going to see that. That's what the market does. The market repeats itself. The market is predictable. This is what the market does. And so, what is the market doing? Same thing. So that's what happens. The market is going to correct itself. And because of that little pullback that we saw in that candle, because of that pullback, you know that the market has to correct itself. And that's what it's doing. And so halfway through here, we know that that's exactly what it's doing. Any questions or comments on that? Any questions, any comments?
I guess I do have a question, Tasha.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm looking at this particular trade, and I can observe that the PSAR is still far away, even though the candle has changed. And we saw both the wicks form, but because even though the stochastic sort of has gone a little bit to the right now, but because of the other indicators, you would just stay in and let it follow through. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. It's a 92% accuracy rate. So, and even since we've been talking, I said that, asked for a question, and then you asked your question. Look at what the stochastic has done. The stochastic, the blue had actually came down and touched the red, right?
Right.
Now look at it. What is it doing? It's going back up. So the market is going to go through that correction. And that's why, because I saw that candle had weakened, like, because you look at what happens. The candles are in those steps. They look like steps. And then that correction. So I saw that it had weakened some. So because of that, and it's a 92% accuracy rate. And so with knowing that, with knowing these rules, with knowing the fact of what's going to happen, because it's one or two things are going to happen, right? With the 92% accuracy rate. So the odds are in your favor. So the market is either going to correct itself and it's going to continue up, because everything was lined up for a good trade. Everything was lined up for a good trade. But the PSARs, so if it doesn't correct, then the PSAR, it will eventually touch the PSARs and then it'll turn around. But everything is still aligned up. So this is actually beginning to turn back up. So you'll see we got another 15 minutes on this one in particular. So, but it just looks like another correction.
And just to add to that, with using the indicator and really the understanding. So if that, where we are right now, we look at the blue line, it's right around the 60 mark, and we know that the market is going to always go up or down. We've experienced a correction, and we've mitigated our risk by having our stop loss, but we know that the market has to go to the 80 and higher range before it even begins to turn around, just because of how the market moves. So you can be completely comfortable with knowing how the indicators work, that it has to go to the top before it even considers to change the trend. So that's the benefit of knowing how the indicators work on your behalf. So yes, sometimes you look like that trade is not going to materialize, but that's why it's so important to dismiss yourself from it and just know that it's going to work out, and being completely and totally emotional, because we know if you enter the trade right by following the rules, it's going to come out with the right results.
And that's why the emotionless trading was so important, because the accuracy is there. So the emotionless, because you can't see that and want to jump out. You can't see that and want to just go. That's why while we were waiting on that time change, I went back and showed the corrections. You know, that's why I went back and showed that, because this is still and it's still in our favor, and the momentum is going to go up and it's going to go down. It's going to go up and it's going to go down. So even when it does this little crazy stuff where it would go down and it curve back up and it does these things, but it's going back up because the momentum has to go up to the top. It has to come down to the bottom. And that's what this stochastic is all about. This is what it does. So, and you see this, and the PSAR is still going up toward the top. So allow the indicators and allow the trades to just work out in your favor, and just allow yourself to ride the wave. And when you do that, you will ultimately be on top with 92% accuracy and wins over your losses. Because I can guarantee that. Those are the results. Any other questions or comments? Questions or comments, because we got to get those questions or comments, because Thursday is live in the market. We will be catching pips and making money together. That is what we're going to be doing, catching trades together.
You're going to do Thursday with the holiday?
Oh, no, not this Thursday. No, even if we wanted to, we'd have just been sitting here looking at each other. We'd have been looking at each other. You see how excited I get?
I will say this. I will say this though, Tasha. I'm really thankful for the hands-on training that I'm getting here, because it really helps. I say, help me keep my emotion under control and just trust the process. It does take some getting used to, and I'm working on it, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to really learn this. And it just really teaches you a lot of patience and to not get anxious. And I'm glad, and I thank you.
It's my pleasure. And you see, I'm ready to trade on the holidays, so I'm gonna be here. So I'm just so thankful that you have, that we're here. I'm
Ms.
just
Dyer, I have a question. This is Sharon.
Okay, go right ahead.
The other yesterday, I think it was, I did a trade for LTC, Litecoin, Bitcoin.
Okay.
And I entered my stop loss. I entered my take profit, and it just seemed to never ever, like, I refused to go to bed with it being an open trade, because I didn't know, whether, I didn't know when it was gonna ever end, and I just didn't I wasn't sure what I did wrong. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that pair and how it, the history of it, but I closed the trade and I was in profit. But can you, can you tell me, like, should I have just, let it ride? And I had, like I said, I had my number set, but I just couldn't go to bed with it open because I wasn't sure.
Let me answer that first.
Go ahead.
The operative word was that you closed in profit. So that means you won, right? So that's the most important thing. Secondly, it's not the big payday, but getting paid every day. So as long as you are winning, and if you felt comfortable with, that you hadn't got to a place of assurity that you can close out the trade and just let it ride, that just means we have to continually strengthen you in your emotional era so that you can have complete and total confidence. But the fact that you close in profit, that's what you should be most excited about. So go ahead.
Nah, take profit. There's nothing else to say after that. Take profit. I think you answered that one well. So it's really nothing else to say after that. And I can honestly, I mean, the only thing to really add to is cryptocurrency, the pips and how to trade, you know, the pip count and everything is traded completely different. So that is definitely something that you have to analyze through the academy on how to count the how to do the pip count on that. That is definitely going to be something different. So what Mr. Rogers said as far as the emotional, removing the emotions and just making sure you completely understand it is definitely going to be something in your comfort zone and your comfort level, because cryptocurrency is a completely different ball game. Now it's definitely some profit in that because of what it is, but you have to, each one, the pip count is different. So you have to be very comfortable in that arena when you go to trade that cryptocurrency. It works exactly the same, but it counts different. So now look at the stochastic on this one, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the stochastic as we close out. Let's take a look at the stochastic. You see, it's turning. So you just have to ride the wave and let it do what it does. So we're not gonna get to see this one close out because it is officially time to transition this call. So